Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of the show that's yet to be named. Today we're doing a review. We're reviewing Moon Knight. I have Puttyman here from Putty. I have JD here from JohnnyDonuts 777. And we're just going to take this right to heaven.
Or the duot.
That's my line.
That's his line. Hey, Putty's line is welcome to 7 Minutes in Heaven with Putty.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't want to be locked in a closet with Putty.
I kind of do.
I think you guys would enjoy it. I'm just saying
it's like hanging out with young Santa Claus.
Okay. Ho ho ho! I got
yes, you are.
All right. Well, we're way off topic. Okay.
Already.
Let's get it together. Moon Knight. He's from the moon, and he does it at night.
He's Batman. He's Batman, but
whiter.
He's nothing like Batman. It's funny because everyone at my work keeps making that comparison too. I'm like, what? How is he like Batman?
Well, that's everyone's compared it, and believe me, they even made a joke on it. So
again,
this is spoiler.
Before we even get into this, this review. Okay, you know what? Let's do we're gonna do this is non-spoiler. All right, for anyone who wants to see it. It's a pretty decent Marvel show. Yep. It starts off very poorly. It recovers towards the end.
At the end, it turns out really well.
There's really good acting throughout. It kind of just doesn't really make any sense. And I'm sorry, but in the long run, it's one of the lower tier Marvel things. Is it watchable? Absolutely. I think Marvel fans in general will really like it. But I just think if you're looking for more than just marveliness to things, this does not have it.
See, my problem with it is I enjoyed it because I knew, but the thing is, again, being a Marvel fan, I feel like they put way too much lore into one season of 6 episodes.
It's not even a season, just 6 episodes.
Yeah, and see, the thing is we literally went into what I would say 4 or 5 series of Moon Knight, literally in these 6 episodes with the first time. Well, I don't want to get into spoil, but just a lot of things that we'll get into later. That was just a lot of lore to shove into a small compact area, which I understand why they did it. They wanted to get to the point where they could get to where I guess Moon Knight is now, or at least where Moon Knight is the basic Moon Knight that we know, you know what I mean? As far as all the variations of his personalities, all the ways that he transforms into each version of Moon Knight, things of that nature. But the problem is I understand why they did it, but it feels too fast that a non-Marvel fan will understand. A Marvel fan like myself might understand why they did it. Non-Marvel fan be like, what the hell did I just watch? Does that make sense?
For me, if I take Marvel out of the equation and just leave it as a standalone show with no connection to anything else in the MCU,
which it kind of doesn't have.
And that's what I enjoyed about it. It doesn't need to have and that's why I personally enjoyed the show. Like, I enjoyed this, to be honest. Like, you guys say what you will, I preferred this over WandaVision.
Hey, you could. We'll get into that more as we get into spoiler stuff because I don't want to go full breakdown yet. But that's fair. A few people have told me the same thing. I know a lot of people that love it, that absolutely loved it, and
like it's not Falcon Winter Soldier level. That's still.
Yeah, I agree, but it's. I think in the end, for me, it didn't come together right. And what Putty said makes sense. And when he's saying Marvel, I want to make this clear. He doesn't mean Marvel people like people who love the Marvel movies. He means Marvel people like people reading the comic books as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't know anything about comic books, you'll be lost.
You'll be lost.
Show.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the non-connections. They did reveal, this is not a spoiler, that Kumail Nanjiani's character from Eternals was going to be the person that was supposed to have cameo. But he didn't. And you know what? They're probably.
I think it was better for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. But
Kingo.
Okay, so just to get this out of the way, my personal rating, to me, I would not call this bad at all, but I would say for me it's in the lowest tier of Marvel stuff. I would probably give it a 6.9 out of 10, like slightly under a 7.
Fair.
Okay, for me, comparatively, if you're comparing it to everything else, that's so hard because the thing is for me, it felt rushed. So I mean, I already knew what was the outcome, but I felt like the outcome came too quickly. So honestly, gee, this is hard. I wanted to give it I'm gonna just give what I wanted to give. I wanted to give it a 5. Honestly, I mean, the thing is, I like it, but it's just I still feel there's other ones. As far as here's my thing, I feel like as far as opening the door to more mature content, yes. But I feel like Daredevil and all those did it all right. And now that they're canon to the MCU because they're on Disney Plus and they're back in the canon now, well, other reasons too, but spoiler for other movies, as I don't want to say that. But anyway, I feel like this is opening the door to the more mature content because I feel like that's what this was. This was opening the door to Marvel Knights, or at least that road, whatever that might be. You know what I mean? So for that, I'm grateful, but I feel like they could have done
I'll
it
disagree
better.
with you, but
well, wait till spoilers. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But that on a donut scale, I'll probably give it a 6.5 to a 7. Like,
so you're kind of in the Doctor Strange zone.
Yeah,
as well
it was good. It's watchable. I enjoyed it, but like you said, though, if you take the Marvel aspect away from it, I would have enjoyed it more if I knew it had nothing to do. If I thought it had nothing to do with Marvel, but because I know it has something to do with Marvel, it drops a little bit on that scale.
That's fair. Okay, so if you guys just came for the spoiler-free review, there you go. Go check out the show. Let us know what you think. But now we're going full spoilers, so just go home, okay? Just get out of here.
Smell you later.
Smell you later. Okay, no, don't go, buddy. Come back. Come on. Okay,
We love
go.
you.
Okay, go.
We love you.
Okay, so anyways, full spoilers. I kind of want to go. Let's do this quickly. I don't want like a full explanation or anything, but let's go through the show, and then after we'll discuss real feelings on our thing. So to me, I'm gonna pack episode 1 and 2 into a package.
Okay. Weakest of the two.
If they're not the worst two things that Marvel has ever created in the history of the MCU, it's the worst back-to-back episodes of a show, at least, that we've ever seen. And I'll tell you why, because nothing in these episodes makes any sense. And as the show progresses, they basically retconned everything that happened in these 2 episodes. Nothing mattered in these 2 episodes at all. And the fact that nothing gets explained to you anyways is like, I was really upset that I spent 2 hours watching a show and literally got nothing out of it at all. Like, there was zero information here that was valuable to me as the
all I
viewer
got
of the
was
show.
the security guard at the museum doesn't know who Steven's actual name.
And it's like, go, Putty. Go
I was going to say that was the situation. Again, this is going in knowing Marvel and knowing Moon Knight. I knew Stephen Grant wasn't the real person. It was Mark Spector. But the problem was I felt like they were pushing more for the Stephen Grant because they wanted to push to the nicer side, which Moon Knight's always had its edge to it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the reason why it got compared to the whole Batman thing. Because again, you could tell
there's no edge to this show. I'm just going to say
but
I don't even get
we
that.
barely saw Moon Knight.
I know, but let me just say what I mean by the edge. You have to understand, in Marvel's terms, again, I'm talking Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Marvel Comic. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is considered edgy. You got to think, they don't want to hit that road. They did it with Daredevil and everything, but they're still being very timid when it comes to what they consider edgy. You got to remember, the split personality thing, that right there is going to be controversial no matter what in the world of the MCU.
The ID for sure, yeah.
Exactly. So you push that, and then you push a violent guy that literally, like, you got to think, we saw the little clues of I'm forgetting his name now, the third character,
Jake Lockley.
Jake Lockley. I can think of his name right now. Jake Lockley. We saw that early on when they both blacked out and didn't know what was going on in that first scene where he kills.
We even met Jake Lockley and we didn't even know we met him.
Exactly.
In episode 5 when he's in the institution.
Oh yeah, you're
Remember,
right.
he was in the sarcophagus, but then there was also a scene when he's talking to Harrow, and it's not Mark and it's not Steven, and his face is all banged up. That's Jake.
Yeah, you're right.
That was Jake.
Right. And see, that's my point, though. Jake is the one that's going to be the rougher edge one,
the heartless one.
Yeah, exactly. But see, that's my whole point. There is. And this is the reason why, again, I feel like they're open door. Because the thing is they brought in all that stuff. And I feel like the reason why I'm saying that this is just a small inkling of them going to the darker side is because I feel like Marvel is trying to ease people in. So when they do start getting to that darker edge version, the people that are the adults can be like, okay, I'll watch this and won't let my kids watch it. But then at the same time as the kids grow up, they will grow up with it, if that makes sense. So like Moon Knight will be the teenage years. And when they finally get to adults, they could go back and watch what might be Deadpool 3.
Even with you giving me this explanation that makes complete sense, don't see what you're talking about. Like, I understand this is not dark at all. It deals with nothing dark at all except for that
I found
one
it lighthearted.
episode
I found it lighthearted.
It was overly jokey to me. The tone didn't match. Putty, don't try to explain to me the same thing. The show,
I agree.
The show is trying to be dark, but it has such a happy, light, fun tone on top of it that
the only thing that was dark was the whole issue with his mother,
which only is in like 10 minutes of one episode, and then it's completely gone. Right. And then what happens after that? Joke.
That was the only dark thing. The situation with his mother.
So bad. Don't butt John me, because you're going to tell me the exact same thing you just said.
What am I going to say?
You're going to tell me that they're slowly easing us into it.
No, I'm not going to say that. You're talking about Disney.
Yes,
these are the people that want to.
Great. Do you know how many dark, crazy shits Disney has made?
Yes, and they don't put their name on it. This literally has their name on it because
it doesn't. This says Marvel.
Right, but you got to remember they're still keeping Marvel.
I'm not buying that one single bit.
We'll see. We'll see. I have a feeling
they might do something pretty dark. So when that has Marvel's name on it, there was a lot of gory shit in that movie.
Well,
yes,
I agree.
This is my thing. This show should have been that dark, and it
wasn't. I think that's where it missed.
This is not the character that you ease in with. You ease in with like the idea of something. You don't just like pick a character that's dark and be like, we're going to ease in with this. You introduce like Elektra and call that like slightly dark. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Daredevil was darker. Punisher was dark.
That whole universe was darker.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That was over on Netflix. Again, I'm just looking at it and the point of view is how I would think Disney would act. But again, they're always going to want to.
No, like I said, I fully understand the way you're explaining it and the logic behind it. But after watching this show, I just don't see it.
I get it.
Except for that scene. Okay, well let's continue here. So episode 3 comes along. To me, and personally, episode 3 is where there's actually a story starting to happen where it's like you wasted 2 hours in the first 2 episodes for nothing. This one actually starts to go somewhere, but it's still not very good. And the fight scene that we do get looks terrible.
Well, I'm gonna say this: the whole Layla character. Whenever I was watching this, you know how when you're watching something, you know the characters, and it just bothers the hell out of you when you say, "Who is this supposed to turn out to be?" You know what I mean? And Layla bothered me so much because I'm sitting there, and there were times my Moon Knight when I would release information. I don't want to try to promote anyway. When I was trying to get things, okay, I'm trying not to
promoting.
I'm not trying to.
Might be up there.
All right. Anyway, my point whole thing is when I was trying to find stuff because I didn't know who she was connected to, I was like, who is this? I don't know her from anything. You know what I mean?
She is in the comic. Layla is in the comics.
Where? Layla
under a different, not as a different name.
No, because the girl, what she becomes as her idol or as her avatar is not even.
But this is also Disney and Marvel changing things around for their universe. Get that,
but that's what I'm saying though. I don't think Layla was a character at all because I looked everywhere to anyone that was connected to her in any way, and there's nothing I could think of in the Moon Knight world that even connects to her. And if you could tell me, JD, I would love to know.
I think I remember, but I know she was in. There's a blonde lady named Layla in the comics.
That's not Layla. Her name is
No, but this is Disney changing it though. They're changing the story. They're changing the narrative.
An amalgamation of a bunch of
different characters.
But I think she comes later because he talks about
either way. I'll tell you this anyway.
But there's also someone that they tease in the second episode, the Duchamp character.
Yes,
and they never even mention him again.
Well, that's another thing.
And Duchamp is someone big, isn't he? Doesn't he have a huge role in Marvel?
Prime example, if you look at the casting, Bushman was actually mentioned, and I saw the actor. Bushman is one of the major characters in Moon Knight, and when we actually see him 1 second, and you probably don't realize you saw him.
Bushman was the guy who betrayed him.
Exactly. That's literally it. He's a major character. Like
but this is also going back to Hawkeye, where Swordsman is supposed to be a major character. The guy who trains Clint Barton, and he was a joke.
Has a setup. Yeah, he does have a setup.
True.
So, but where this guy doesn't have anything except for a name
and a phone.
So I know all the basics of Moon Knight. I have read Moon Knight here and there, but I know nothing about the Moon Knight storyline. And honestly, it's just one of those characters I don't care at all about. It just never seemed interesting to me. It seemed like they were trying to rip off multiple other characters.
The first time I heard of Moon Knight was Marvel Ultimate Alliance, where he was an unlockable character.
Well, I just knew him because of the connection close to the Defenders, and there's another series too, because it wasn't Defenders exactly, but the characters in Defenders are always connected back to it. And then the other thing was because that's the reason why it's always been connected to Batman in any way, because it was they did state when they made Moon Knight, it was their answer to Batman, and that's the reason why he kind of fights in that way. And that's the reason why they even, if you remember this, it's actually in the last episode.
Isn't Mark Spector supposed to be a billionaire
Yes,
playboy?
that's why. That's
Exactly.
the only connection to Batman in my
Well, no,
opinion.
not just that. Like
People
everything
get
that-
this is what people get misconstrued. They see a cape, they see the word knight with like the K
And a
knight,
cowl?
and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, it's Batman."
Well, no, but if you look, there's a lot of other things. For example, like his arsenal is like, instead of being a bat, it's moon, and he throws it just like
He
does.
has
He's
superpowers.
well, yeah, that's the only thing that he does have.
He
those
can't
differences.
die.
I know that, but
As
that's
long
not
as
because of-
Khonshu's there, he can't
as long
die.
as Khonshu's there, that's the only way. That's again, if Khonshu, again, the multiple personalities is another part of it too. My point to the thing is, you could even see Marvel did show that it. Because remember, in the last episode, we literally see him go up to the moon, and his cape makes the moon symbol in the moon, just like Batman.
That was Marvel being cheeky, though.
But that's because that reference is there, and that's always been something.
But these
that's
kind of
there.
things, this is my point. They're doing these things now on purpose to reference that people think
Well,
it's
no.
Batman.
Well,
and
no,
it's
but
not.
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I understand it's not. But again, this is just like the whole thing about Scarecrow and Solomon Grundy and the Hulk. You know, these are things that they always did between each other. So
I could tell you one that really exists, and that's Deadpool is a ripoff of Deathstroke.
well, fuck you. It's true, but at least Deadpool's funnier than.
Well, the
Deathstroke.
original Deadpool was much
Oh,
more like
And Captain
Deathstroke.
Marvel
Yeah,
and
New
Captain
Mutants.
Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
We know what that was about.
Shazam
Really.
and, well, that's
Isn't there also a
different
Shriek in DC and in Marvel too?
Yeah, they're both
There's a
villains,
scarecrow.
too.
There's a scarecrow and a literal scarecrow, and they're both the
Yeah,
same.
they're
exact
Scarecrow
thing.
and Scarecrow. Anyways, we're getting too far off this.
Yeah, but
So,
only Marvel has the
moving
wheel.
in. You keep it down, okay, Condiment Man. So, episode 4, I think, is the point where the series turns to start. It actually starts becoming good. I enjoyed the little adventuring part of it.
Yeah,
the fight
tomb
scenes were a little
raiding.
better.
Mhm.
But then I didn't like how in episode 5 and 6 it turns around and it throws all of that out the window. It was like, no, you thought this was going to be like Indiana Jones. We tricked you. It's
But that's
it's
what I'm
about mythological creatures.
But that's what I was saying, Campbell. A lot of the stuff they did were in the comic books. They were just spread out way more.
yes,
to
but
where
if you read what the goal of the show was, it was to end after the season and never have Moon Knight ever appear again in the thing. But now they switched the ending to be that ending where he
Moon
shoots
Knight
him in
still
the head
exists.
and he still exists.
Yeah,
Because
Khonshu
they
even
want
says,
to make a season 2.
Mark was never my first choice.
Yeah. The original goal of the show was to be a mini series and just end and never see Moon Knight again.
No, it
Which
makes
I would have
sense.
been fine with.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jake Crawley character, I was always wondering who was going to pop up, and then when it showed, it snuck itself in there, and I'm like, okay. And then the way they ended it, I was like, again, when that big reveal at the end is just very like, ooh, no,
Yeah,
this
but
is
see,
not, it's like,
where are they going to go if they do a second season that they just killed Arthur Harrow?
Because I think you're going to have to introduce somebody else. I mean, when you think about it like this, there's so many Egyptian gods.
Well,
They can do so
that
many
actor who
things.
died, the one when they go to that party, the guy's party when they went to go look for the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be Midnight Man, and he was supposed to be a bigger character in the show, but unfortunately the actor passed away.
and you
They'll
got to remember,
just
there's also
recast.
his brother. You got to remember,
Yeah.
there's also his brother too. His brother becomes
Midnight Man is
no, he becomes Shadow. Is a Shadow? What's his name again?
the Shadow knows.
Do
No,
the
I know.
shadow.
It's
Do the
something with
Shadow.
an S, I think. I'm
Gray
forgetting
Ghost.
now. I literally had it in my notes, and I don't have my notes anymore because I forgot the name of it now.
Yeah, but yeah, his brother does become someone too.
Okay,
you're
well,
right.
we're getting to okay, episode 5. I would say this is the best episode.
I really enjoyed this one.
It has so much care. Like they saved all of the character development and world building for one episode, which is another issue, even though it's enjoyable and it's well done. The acting is the best in this. The chemistry between the cast isn't great, but the chemistry between Oscar Isaac and Oscar Isaac is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Oscar Isaac is just a good
However,
actor,
he
and I'm
managed to have such good chemistry while talking to nobody the whole time. It's just absolutely baffling.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really was good. It felt like there was
And that's where you all got all your exposition on why he has DID and why he created these multiple personalities and
open up his brother too, and so on and so forth. Yeah,
And that was good. This was good. And then episode 5, I think, minus the giant kaiju battle, that
was
so
6, yeah.
horrible.
6,
Absolutely the most Oh, sorry. What did I say?
You said
we were on?
5. You said
5,
5.
yeah, but 6. 6 was the giant
Sorry.
kaiju battle.
So we're on the last episode now, right? That's
Yeah.
where we
Yeah.
are. Okay. If you take out the giant kaiju battle, the episode is great, but that fight looks so. The CGI.
But what was the point of them fighting? What was the point of them fighting when Moon Knight and Layla were fighting Arthur Harrow?
I don't know what was happening here, but all I can tell you is in this episode specifically, it made me really like Layla. Like,
and then what is this new character Layla is? Because this is not.
She's Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, it pretty much is their version of Wonder Woman. You can't deny that.
There was a moment there that I was like, okay, you have me. I'm fully on board. When the little girl's like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" and she's like, "Yes." I was like,
I am.
You got
yeah,
me.
and I feel like
I was
she's going to be in the comics. They're going to.
But I want this to go forward. I loved the dynamic between Moon Knight and that character, which I don't remember the name, but Layla.
I can't remember either.
It was amazing.
No, they never mentioned it. That's just how
she says her name.
Tauret's avatar.
Yeah.
No. But she actually, remember when the Tauret gives it to her, she actually says, "Oh, you're da-da-da-da-da," and I can't remember what the name. She actually gives her name. And
I don't remember that. I remember that when he said that it's
Tauret was the Egyptian goddess of fertility.
Let's no more caring about that. The fight scene there was really good, and the dynamic between the two was good, and I'd love to see the two of them in the next series going forward. As a team, because it really worked for me. But it's like you saved all of the best parts for the last 2 episodes, which doesn't redeem you, especially when the first 2 episodes were that bad. Like, they're not a little bit bad; they're fucking terrible. Those first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Layla character is going to be a character.
And
in the
people at my work are telling me, "Oh, the first 2 episodes are the best 2 episodes." I'm like, "What did you watch?"
See, here's my thing. The first 2 episodes are okay set up if you don't know the world. If you know the world, I feel like it's really boring.
But this is my problem with it. It's when they set up the world in the first 2, which I get what you're saying, okay? But listen, take this in. They tell you everything in the first 2 episodes. By episode 4, nothing you learned in those first 2 episodes matters at all.
Out the window.
And then in episode 5, they basically retcon the whole entire rest of the series because everything that happened before is completely irrelevant now. It only matters what's going forward from here. I
think the only thing is I feel like Stephen Grant is the only reason those 2 exist is so that people will feel compassion for Stephen Grant, because I feel like you wouldn't. Because I'll be honest, because
in the comic books, that's not how they would have introduced it to you. It would have been the other way around.
Exactly, and that's
Mark
the thing.
Spector would have been the first character they introduced.
And that's what was confused to me. I was like, they're doing Stephen Grant
also.
First, but then,
if anybody noticed, the license plate on the Bentley driving away said Spectre, which tells us he is a billionaire, and he probably doesn't remember that. And
it's Christoph Waltz's character from the James Bond,
or it's Christoph Waltz's character from Green Hornet.
There's a deep cut for you.
Yeah. Anyways, but like, argument's sake aside, this show is just not very good. I could have lived without it. I think the lead off of where the show got up to and where it's leaving off at this point has me intrigued to see what will come next. But I think I could have just never watched this and I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah. If it wasn't there, I wouldn't have cared.
Yes, if they, I feel like I have to watch it because it exists. So don't get me wrong. But if it never existed, nobody would notice the difference. I don't think. I really like the fact that it's really Egyptian based, and
it uses a lot of more.
It's a whole new style.
Well, if you look at online, the director, he's Egyptian. He said he wanted to cast everyone that was Egyptian, and he even remarked.
But yet they cast a Cuban, Guatemalan, or whatever,
and a white guy.
Wait, Oscar Isaac?
Yeah.
I thought he was Egyptian.
No. He's like Cuban. He's Hispanic. He's Latino.
The director literally made a big deal about hiring
of casting everybody else.
Yeah,
well,
he's
Marvel
Latino.
Told him that he was going to use Oscar Isaac.
Oh, okay.
And Ethan Hawke.
Okay,
you're not going to when you're a new director and someone's like, you're going to get Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, you just say yes.
The reason I state that is because he then insulted DC for hiring The Rock to play Black Adam, because he said it should be all Egyptian.
So then Shazam should be a Greek guy then.
I know, but that's my point though. He literally made a comment online apparently of like, oh, I have no respect.
Listen,
DC because they're not.
There was almost no backlash about Oscar Isaac being.
No, he beat Oscar Isaac. Like, I mean, we can agree that Oscar
Isaac. You know what the
backlash
backlash was? that Mark Spector is a Jewish guy, and the fact that he's not Jewish, he can't play a Jewish person. I'm like, Jewish people are white. Like, what are you complaining about? That's like me saying you can't play a Catholic person because you're Jewish. What the hell does that mean?
All right.
How many Jewish people have played non-Jewish characters in
Lot,
other teams,
especially
right?
in Hollywood? But I'm just saying, like, that's your complaint. If anything, my complaint would be he's not Egyptian.
Yeah.
Well, that's my set. I thought.
But I don't think he's. I don't think Moon Knight is an Egyptian character. Is Mark Spector Egyptian?
No.
He's
I
not.
think Mark Spector is a Jewish character, though.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. It's just the character.
But it's a white guy from New York.
But the characters, as far as like Khonshu, all the lore is with the Egyptian.
But see, that's the thing. They made his dad look like the stereotypical like Jewish guy with the frizzy hair.
For me, they made the mom look like a Spanish person. Like
she looked Latina.
Hard.
Yeah,
they really tried really hard to make her look like a New York Spanish person.
Yeah, she looked like Puerto Rican or something.
Yeah.
Either way, it does. Again, I was just commenting on what he said. And I thought.
Yeah, we agree with you. We're not. That's not an argument at all. But
oh no, I'm not arguing. I just don't.
Wow, Putty, stop arguing, please.
I go into deep cut about it.
But yeah, that is what it is. I think it's a watchable show, but it's really messy.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's way more messy than Doctor Strange was.
If you're into Marvel and Marvel comics, definitely give it a watch. But if you pick and choose what Marvel properties you watch, then you could skip this one.
I'm gonna actually say this. I'm gonna say if you want to just keep up with the Marvel world, you should still watch it. And the reason I state that is because
what you just
again, well, no, but I'm saying in general, because people are like, if you just watch Marvel like regularly, I feel like even something is going to happen later, just like a certain movie that we just saw. And there's a lot of times now because we're getting so saturated with Marvel that you have to because I'm talking to my viewers that are younger. They're stating that they did not like one of my viewers didn't watch Marvel until Black Panther, and I literally introduced him to X-Men, to actual first Doctor Strange before he even saw Doctor Strange 2. And it's so weird that there's a lot of things they have to catch up on in order to see some new movies whenever they come out, because they're all intertwined. That I feel like
that's why you don't have to watch Moon Knight, is because it's not intertwined with
anything.
No, but
I think it's going to be.
I think this
I don't think so.
The information you got from this show will be irrelevant to anything Marvel does with the character in the future.
Well, see, the reason I think is I think that the whole gods thing will come back. The whole
yes, but the gods thing's already going with them. They've been doing it for years.
But they could have done it with the Eternals, and they even cut Kumail Nanjiani's character out of the show to make it a standalone character.
Even if they use the gods, nothing that happened in this show is really relevant. Unless this show continues and keeps building on that, then yes, I think so. But like Doctor Strange, for example, you could not even watch the first Doctor Strange. As long as you've seen WandaVision, you can watch the new Doctor Strange.
That's all you need to watch.
Like we said in our review, it doesn't even reference what happened in Spider-Man outside of making jokes about it in the first 2 minutes of the movie. And it's like, to me, that was like, what was the point of what happened in
that
Spider-Man?
Was a pretty funny scene. Like, out of his butt? No, well, I don't know.
Yeah, anyways.
But yeah, no, I know where you're trying to get to, Putty, because I've seen your reviews too. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with any of the other Marvel Knights characters. It's not going to have anything to do with Ghost Rider. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with that. I think Moon Knight, the reason why they cut it the way they did and they made it a standalone show is because they want it separate from the MCU as its own thing. With Blade, with the Black Knight, with the Eternals, that's all connected because that was the stinger at the end of the Eternals. Right. Whereas this has nothing to do with that. So I think, me personally, I think this is a one and done, and that's it. You're not going to see. Ghost Rider is too big of a character to put in a TV series.
I'm going to agree with you, but I'm also going to agree with Putty here because the fact that we know that Kumail Nanjiani was supposed to be in this makes me think that they originally wanted to connect it to the Blade and
originally, yes, and all of that. But that's why they cut it out.
No, forget it. They're like, just don't do it. But Putty was right. They were definitely trying to go that way, 100%.
But it failed.
But I think you're going to end up with Moon Knight is going to end up crossing over with that at some point. I
could see Moon Knight crossing over with if they when they reboot the Daredevil series. I could see Moon Knight doing a crossover with an appearance in there, but that's about as far as it goes. like part of the Defenders.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
okay. Guess what? I'm done. Okay, I'm freaking done. Guys, thank you for watching. Let us know what you thought about the show in the comments, and check out their channels. And yeah, peace out.
You know how it goes.